And the flags are waving up on the mountain. Everyone's still kind of wiping the sleep out of their eyes, and this will wake them up. A ute race first thing on a Sunday morning.
Well, the F1 car was out this morning. I'm sure that got them all excited as well. So to have the utes out there, just looking at that Nissan Bluebird there. I remember as a kid sitting back and watching Bathurst, George Fury hanging off the wheel, doing the time, and it was pretty impressive stuff. I'm sure that thing was on my wall at home, the poster on my wall. So yeah, it's great to be here this weekend. It's very exciting. And I know that these ute guys, they're going to be a bit nervous. Sunday morning at Bathurst is always one of those times where, you know, you've gone through the week and it's building up and building up. You're here as the sun comes up, the cars are ready, the track's cold, and, you know, you've gone through a bit of racing, but here we go. This is going to be exciting stuff.
And they would know that everyone's watching. This is the biggest day in Australian motorsport, and they're on the centre stage just before the big guys.
Yeah, it tends to be one of those race meetings where you get to Sunday morning, these blokes leave the brain in the trailer. So we'll see what happens when we get out there racing. But they tend to get fairly excited by Sunday morning, that's for sure.
Jeremy Gray, he was in the fence yesterday, just outside of the cutting. It's been an action-packed weekend, and the two race winners share that front row. But keep an eye out for Hansford in behind them. Also, Mediki, a couple of second-generation stars who had very famous fathers at the mountain. We're seeing some more second-generation stars in the big race today as we get set for the final race. It's the V8 Utes fueled by Holt's Breath Cafe. And we dropped the hammer. Good start for both guys on the front row, and a great start for Jesse Dixon, who snuck up the inside of a couple of them. He might get Cedars as well. McNally looks to take the lead of the race through Held Corner. Marjoram and Jane go banging doors, and so too Fisher, who we're now riding on board with.
So Jesse Dixon got a good run up the inside of Chris Walton there. That was the biggest sort of mover off the start line, but it was pretty even between the two guys on the front row, Nathan Pretty and Reece McNally. But Reece McNally, he's hung on the through the first corner, and he's going to hold position up into turn 2.
This is the part of the track where we saw so much drama yesterday.
Here we go.
We're going to see some more drama now as Ryle Harris, who gave a little bit of a kiss to the right rear of Fisher, and that cost Kim Jane, who went sliding out wide, kind of like David Reynolds on lap 1 last year in the big race. First time through the cutting, it's very narrow through there.
You certainly run a road very quickly when you're trying to go side by side up into the cutting, that's for sure. The first lap, though, you always try and give a little bit of room, get yourself through there, try and not make contacts. It's very easy to bend suspension. But here we go with Jeremy Gray. You see how close they are to the wall under the tree.
Managed to get further than he did in yesterday's first race, second race I should say, the reverse grid race. We flipped the top 8, and it was Nathan Pretty who was victorious. Holden looking to get a bit of a clean sweep here. They haven't done that since Townsville last year, winning all 3 races. We saw Nathan Pretty in the thick of things there with a round victory. They stay the way they are to be Reece McNally, the West Aussie. The tall timber will be taking a round victory at the moment, but there's still a good 6 and a bit laps to go.
It's always exciting, the first lap of Bathurst on a Sunday morning. The air's crisp, the track's a bit green, it's cold. The car gets light across the top of the hill. The tyre pressures aren't quite up yet. And it's part of the race where it's very exciting for these guys. You've got to try and find a way through. You've got to take advantage of the little opportunities that come, but you also got to make sure you get it right, because it's a long morning. Even a 7-lap around here still takes a fair time.
Wild stuff down through the chase, and Mediki's up the inside of Nathan Pretty. He couldn't quite get the job done, and he'll be exposed now on the outside of the curb. The multi-spares. That's Ryan Hansford. He's on the outside. Son of the driver who won the Bathurst 1000 with Larry Perkins.
Oh, no!
He's gone! They all ganged up on him at the final corner, and at Murray's, Pretty's facing the wrong way. GoPro be a hero. He was a hero yesterday. And now he's facing the wrong way in the last corner.
That's all it takes, isn't it? There was a little bit of contact there from Ryan Hansford in the rear of the back of Nathan Pretty's car. Just locked the rear brakes and spun him round. So that's one of the things. I can see David Cedars sit in the background going, I might inherit the earth here. This could be interesting.
Second year in the series for Adam Ardrum and the Auto 1 Ute side by side with Ryle Harris, 2-time champion, and also completed the Dunlop Series race here yesterday. Put an arms like Popeye after completing a lot of laps around Mount Panorama so far this week, and Kim Jane's got a long way back after a couple race wins here last year and a podium. He's back fighting in the Minnows. A couple of big names back there, including Craig Gonders. Let's have a look at the start. A Heyman Reese got an absolute belter of a start. Chris Walton was slow to jump, and Dixon got up the inside of him on the approach to Hell Corner.
quite clean through the first corner there. A little bit of contact, a little bit of rubbing, 3 wide. They managed to all get through that nice and cleanly, but this is the move that was quite interesting. Harris up the inside of Fisher there, and you can see that little bit of contact. Kim James just taking avoiding action.
He's never one to die wondering, is he, Roll Harris?
No, he's certainly, and he's aggressive in terms of making those moves.
How close is that to absolute disaster?
And I tell you, once you get off that racing line, you start getting up in that dust and that marbles. It's an ugly place to be. So he's done a great job to hang on to that one. This was great yesterday. It continued on today. These guys went side by side for, you know, through the chase all the way up the hill. But here they are side by side again. And look at that way that car moves around. It's exciting stuff.
Slick Miedeke making his return to Mount Panorama Racing in this series, at least. He raced in the Dunlop series here last year. And the boys just bending a couple of panels on the way through. Hard at work, soaring away on the wheel, and this is how it all ended up. Ryan Hansford may be the guilty party there.
I think he might be having a bit of a visit to the driving standards of officer later after this race, that's for sure.
Which coincidentally is Chucky Baxter this weekend, and that is never good. Hopefully that's not dropping any liquid through the cutting. We have a standard engine package which is shared across the board. Oh, the converter
it's happened again.
Gone straight up the back of Danny Bazadzik. That was Phil Woodbury, the guilty party on this occasion, and he's done a disappearing act.
We've lost him in the dust.
That's the first for Bathurst.
Yeah, he's disappeared, he's gone. But yeah, Phil Woodbury, I think he's probably got that one very similar to Ryan Hansford. They got a little bit late on the brakes, bit of a tap in the back, and away she's gone.
Woodbury's one of 7 drivers making their first appearance at the mountain in the Utes, and proving that it's very easy to get it wrong. The champion-elect now on the back of the man who's probably going to hand over the championship at some point. Raul Harris is starting to find a bit of speed now. He's been driving with Matt Stone Racing. Took out the round win at Sandown at the last round from Chris Walton. They've been just about inseparable over the last 2 or 3 rounds, these two. They're pretty good mates as well. Oh no, it's Andrew Fisher. And the Jesus Racing unit has pulled over on the run-up Mountain Straight, and yellow flags in that area, so no passing. Doesn't look to have much damage. Maybe the right front, but... Oh, gearbox.
Gearbox. That gear lever, he's wobbling around there. He's not going to go anywhere without being able to see.
Yeah, we can see it, Andrew, we know. That is done for the day.
What do you do?
We use a standard rip shift style gearbox. It's an H pattern, not like a sequential box that we see, and no paddles available to the VAU boys.
No, just old school.
They're usually pretty bulletproof. Roll Harris had a problem with one up in Darwin earlier this year. He was the leaders. They've spread it out just a little bit. The Stratco Ute is having a fantastic weekend, isn't he? Most improved driver in the category last year.
Hansford right on the edge across the top. Reece McNally, he's doing a great job, as you said. Badecki there was under pressure quite early from Cedars, but the car's started. There's that contact from Woodbury.
Oh, man.
No, it wasn't. It was only a kiss.
GT3 Cup Challenge driver from last year for Woodbury, and that was definitely more than a kiss, that one. That was a full-on pash, I think. He's really gone up the back of the tailgate and slammed it off onto the grass.
It's all yours, that one, Chad. I'll let you have that one.
Thanks, Bugs. And Bazadzik facing the wrong way at the chase, and the Western General Bodyworks. It's going to need a bit of bodywork in the tailgate, and Woodbury showing that at one part of this racetrack, it's very easy to get it wrong with these brakes.
Oh, it's a hard place down at the chase, particularly in these utes. You've really got to be able to get a good feel of the tyre, and it is hard this time of the morning to be able to feel the tyre and the braking. Once they lock, they're very hard to unlock. They're so heavy and they've got such a small contact patch that once they go over that edge of grip, they just continue on, and it's obviously contact is what tends to happen. As you can see there, he's gone in as deep as he can, bang in the back. Yeah, we may see him in pit lane for a drive-through after that one.
If he ever appears from the signs down there once again. Here's Roll Harris at the inside, and it's Jesse Dixon who's
he's sliding her in there.
Got to be under a bit of pressure, riding on board with Elliot Barber. To the back of the tray, we've got a pretty good view of this one as we start lap number 4 of 7, down towards Hell's Corner, and Harris, the West End Mazda all-purpose pest control unit, had to sit nicely there, and Dixon's probably going to lose 2 as a result. Chris Walton with that right mirror somewhere out there around the mountain. Might have to swing past Super Cheap Auto and see if he's got a spare one for a Ford Falcon Ute.
So Roll Harris, a bit of a mover here in the last couple of laps. He's made some positions up. He's got past Elliot Barber, he's got past Chris Walton, and now he's got the move done on Jesse Dixon as well. So he's doing a good job.
So in terms of the podium right now, it's looking good for Reece McNally, who'll be taking the round win. Miedeke will be up there with him, first time that we've seen him on the podium since making his full-time return so far this season. And Cedars and Hansford arguing over the last spot at the moment. It's going to go the way of Hansford at the moment, but that's probably going to be pending the decision from Chucky Baxter at the end of the race after the contact with Nathan Pretty.
Yeah, that's something that's definitely going to be looked into. Marjoram there, got the car sliding under the tree up over Reed Park. You can see Andrew Badecki. They're just starting to get an edge over David Cedars, whose car was moving around, coming up the top of the hill that last lap. You can see him sliding in the rear, and someone's used more than they should there. They're all good.
I get the feeling that might have been Miedeke in the wake-up here because he's fallen back. Hansford sideways with the dipper. He's fallen back another few spots, hasn't he, here? Miedeke, well, not a few spots, but a few car lengths. And Cedars is lurking here. He's off the podium at the moment. If he can make one more spot, oops, he's sideways.
Cedars.
Sideways the whole way through Forest Elbow, and he loses a spot to his stablemate in the multi-spares ute. So Hansford trying to go back-to-back podiums at the mountain. And this should see Cedars maybe not make the podium today, and he's probably going to lose another spot here because here comes Elliot Barber, teammates last year at Cedars Racing, but now he's made the move over to a Holden, and this is scary stuff. Top speed, no downforce.
Side-by-side stuff.
Cedars holds on around the outside, has the sit at the bottom of the hill, and aggressively holds on to that spot. And watch Harris is sliding around the outside. Is he going to gather it up? Contact with Cedars. The second time those two have hit each other today, and Cedars gives him one back. Actually, it's Barber that he's gone into the side of. The gloves are off in the utes for the final race of the weekend, and they're all going to be limping for the final 3 laps. Wow.
There's only 2 laps to go here. This is unbelievable stuff. They are fighting tooth and nail. This is crazy for about 5th or 6th place. So
Harris again.
And Harris is going to be the big winner here. He's the guy who's been making manoeuvres. He's been passing cars. Chris Walton's now buying into the action. Cedars has dropped from 4th place. He's down the back of this queue now, and clearly limping around with a bit of damage.
Oh, he's seriously hurting as Marjoram just cruises on by. Now we've got Harris and Walton who are going to argue the point. Harris has the inside line, but Walton's maybe just too far ahead. Harris is so good under brakes. And he jams it back up there, and Walton's thinking championship right now.
As well as Cedars, whose car is limping, and he's really dropping off the back. So this has been a big thing for Cedars in this championship because Chris Walton just sat back there, watched all that action happen, and there's Cedars limping around with a flat tyre, it looks like, or a broken suspension.
The left rear is down. Oh, could this season go any worse? David Cedars limping around the mountain, and he is a long way off.
So that all started at the top of Forest Elbow where Cedars had that little mistake, and that little mistake's cost him. The car was sliding. You can see there that Chris Harris right up the dirt, bang into the rear corner, and that's what's done the damage. That's what's caused the flat tyre for Cedars.
Let's go on board and see exactly how this all unfolded once again. There was the first slam dunk from Cedars to Barber. The West End Mazda went around the outside, came flying back on, and bang! That's what put the left rear down. Second time this weekend that Cedars and Harris have got together. And I don't think they're going to be best mates at the end of this weekend because this is seriously starting to cost Cedars some points. Oh, that was aggressive to begin with. Harris was not a bad effort, but he got onto the dirty stuff, then he was out there in the dust, no grip. Did a good job to gather it up. That could have been massive.
I mean, there's no intention there. He's obviously just trying to hang on to the car, got it back on the track. There's 4 and 5, 6 cars involved in that little battle, and there was plenty of contact going on. But it's Cedars that's the one that's come out worse. He went from 3rd position, and now he's limping around the track in a world of hurt.
Yeah, this car up on the limiter nicely. It's got Woodbury to the right. And Jeremy Gray trying to pick up a few spots here after making a mess of yesterday's race. He started 20th. He's on a march at the moment. 8 spots in the one race so far, so not too bad around the mountain, and Woodbury's coming in with that fair bit of damage to the front end after contact with Danny Buzadzik. And Hansford's pulled off now. What a bad day for the Cedars team. The multi-spares ute on the podium last year, and this could just about elevate Chris Walton onto a podium.
I think that's down at the Chase. It looks like it's down at the Caltex Chase, so yeah, I'm not sure what's gone wrong there.
That
maybe
right front tyre looked pretty average, but that might have been a bit of grass on it as well, though. This is the Cooper's Cloud 9 bar. Not a bad spot to check out the action down there at the Chase. Who knows what will happen in this part of the world later today. And yellow flags down there, so that takes away a pretty nice passing opportunity. Here's McNally, part of a big racing family. Him and his brothers racing over in the West. It's elevated Jesse Dixon up to third. Isn't he having a breakout year in the Utes? A rookie last year, second in the Rookie of the Year honours. And we're hearing now this will be the final lap. There it is, confirmation down on the bottom left.
It's been survival of the fittest this weekend, hasn't it? There's been action everywhere, penalties, cars crashing into each other. It's come down to these last few laps, but it's McNally that's done the job in the Stratco Commodore. He's just been clean all weekend. He's stayed out of all the action. He's won that first race, and he's now on target to win the race this morning.
It's good seeing George Medici get a bit of speed back. Oh, McNally's busy in the car.
I might just take all that back, I think.
Yeah. Let's not go throw the ticker tape parade for him just yet. He's got to get back down the mountain. And Medici trying to close that gap up. Good to see him with a bit of car speed back, though, Medici. New engine for this weekend. They thought they were lacking oil pressure earlier, but thankfully they've managed to get it together as Storm and McNally comes through, and the battle further back is raging. It's the pest at the front of this pack, and he's dropped back a couple here. Roll Harris. He's got Sam Barry, the Kiwi, who's up inside the top 10 and doing a good job. He's kept this thing fairly straight. Look at this. Barry wants to argue the point at Forest Elbow. Harris is limping home here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you can see Harris's pace there. He's just off the pace. Something's not quite right in that car as well. I'd say it's something to do with that front suspension after that contact with Cedars. So he's limping around, probably bench steering. But the man of the moment, Sunday morning at Bathurst, Reece McNally, he's doing a fantastic job.
The Utes have been racing around the mountain since 2001. Even the great Peter Brock's won a race here, and there is the car of Cedars pulled over. No points for him from the final race.
No, that's why he's pulled over. He's now going to drive that car across the line. He'll be a lap down, but he'll get some points.
Oi, let it all hang out. Reece McNally is the winner of the race and the round here at Bathurst. It's been exciting. Walton will probably snare another podium. He's been on the podium for the last 5 rounds now. He's on an absolute charge back. That's 6. He's really flying and extending that championship lead with only a handful of rounds left. It's looking very nice right now for the Queenslander to break through for his first championship, and the Stratco crew are happy with that. So it's good and bad news for the Cedars clan. They get 1 race win and a round win in the hands of McNally, but the series man that they were hoping to see in the points has not had a good day at all. George Medici, his dad, Mad Andy, won a race back here a few years ago, and finally a bit more speed for him. But Walton will extend the championship lead here this weekend, and that's probably the real news coming out of the Hog's Breath Utes so far this weekend. Exciting stuff, exactly what we expected. There's still some more support racing yet to come before we get into the big one. Hope you're enjoying your morning wherever you are watching around the country. Happy Bathurst Day. We'll be back with more soon.
can't. Oh, now I can. There we go. That is more buongiorno. Buongiorno. I don't know why I did that, but it just came out like that. James, have a chat.
How we doing, Fordo? Have we got Fordo?
Well, maybe if you talk back, you can.
Oh.
Belt up. All passengers are my responsibility.
Respect the highway code. Rules are there to protect us all.
Obey the speed limit. My car is made of metal. Pedestrians and children are not. Drive sober. When I'm drunk or on drugs, I'm a danger on the road.
Protect my children. Keep them safe in car seats.
Pay attention. Calling and texting makes me dangerous.
Stop when I'm tired. Getting there late is better than not at all. Check my tyres, both for wear and correct inflation, as well as the spare.
Wear a helmet. Motorbikes and bicycles do not protect my head.
Be courteous and considerate. Respect other drivers.